Everyone, welcome back to another episode of Devil Province. Today on the podcast we have YinYarn. And then this is the part where you go like, hi guys, it's me, or some anything.
Hey guys, it's me, or some anything. It's me. Hey guys, it's your boy. I'm never gonna actually say that unironically. It's me, YinYarn. Sometimes you guys laugh at my jokes, but other times you probably don't. So that's what you know me from.
So let's start with a future prospect of your channel. So currently on your YouTube channel, I've heard a couple things about starting to stream again, maybe starting the channel back up. You want to tell me about a couple of those things that you got going on?
Yep. So I decided, because it turned January 1st not too long ago, and I was like, I need to make videos again, simply because it's not doing anything, just sitting there. So I called up Cody, and I got a hold of several people, and we're kind of forming a team. This was kind of like in the works pre-January, but I have Wonky, who's going to be taking those live streams and snippeting it so that I have all the best moments. He'd be better at it than I would, since I don't know what parts really are funny. But then again, I mean, Wonky laughs at pretty much everything I do. I could say the word fudge and he'd be giggling. So I mean, you know, like, I still trust him though. I'm sure he can do a good job of that. Cody is going to be in charge of art and stuff. She's doing all the icons and maybe thumbnails. I think she should do thumbnails because she'd be really good at it. I just kind of take images and slap them together, and you know, I make it look nice, but it's not like a full like image would look great. So she's in charge of that. I'm thinking at some point down the line we'll do like pins, just like fun stuff that you can like buy that won't be like expensive, just cheap stuff, like fun stuff good for people that enjoy the channel and want to support me. So that way you're not, you know, just like, if you're trying to throw money at me, like, so that I kind of scrapped the Patreon, but it's still there as a tip jar. It's just a nice thing to have, but that's probably going to get a rework too. But like, we're going to have a different sort of way of dealing with it, but like, if someone wants to support me, the best way they're going to be able to do it is just through obviously subbing, which I mean is kind of just a, you know, an obvious thing. And then the other thing would be like buying a pin or just doing something like that to help the channel. But then they also get something in return, so they don't feel like, if I don't do anything, then they feel like that money got wasted, but they actually get something for it. But that'll come down later, because I'm not gonna do something like that early on. It'll be more once the channel actually starts rolling again. But I decided that I won't just be doing realm content. It's going to be a mix of things, stuff that I like, kind of some newer games too. Well, the thing is that my mindset is very much so like, I want to play Super Nintendo games. I mean, I play Realm. It looks like an old game. I'm very into old games, but I also like new games, some. So the stuff that I enjoy in terms of newness, I'm going to also put on the channel. I think one of the first video ideas I had was to play Smash Ultimate for the channel as a kind of like a funny edited video. So that'll be interesting for people to watch. But as for, and I was talking about this to you earlier, the channel's kind of getting a rehaul as well, like the whole thing. As much as I would love to keep the name YinYarn, it's a little debatable where that is in terms of trademark, because it is the name of a Nintendo character. And if I go further with this, that might be a problem later. So I have to redo it. And I'm probably going to put an announcement on my channel saying stuff like that before I post my first new video as like a quick announcement. So that way people aren't like, who the heck is this guy? Like, it's like, it would be like saying, oh, YinYarn posted a new video. Why is his title, why is his new name Drakthar, Destroyer of Worlds now? You know, like, nobody would know who that is. So I'm going to post an announcement before that happens, so people at least understand that that's what's going on. But yeah, so the mascot's changing, the name's changing. And once again, that's not because I want to do that. I was fine with YinYarn. I think everyone was fine with it. It rolled off the tongue. It was a good name. But the next one will be good too. It's just, it has to change, because if I want to continue, obviously, like I said, I don't know if trademark's going to be an issue in terms of selling things or anything like that, you know, like a domain name. So that's just me being safe.
Yeah, copyright's usually an issue with names like that.
Yeah.
especially with like, because Nintendo's really tight with their security on copyright issues and stuff. It's not really an issue with people like, Bic, because, it's like a one-off name for a card. People don't really take too much mind to it. Plus, he doesn't put out like merch that's like monetized for that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, generally, it's a really good idea to try to and avoid names like this. I know if I ever put out merch for my my name, I know Okigom gets kind of mad about the name Refical because Refacal's a game character from this Japanese game, and they get really pissy about stuff like that. So I couldn't ever put out merch for my name. It's even weirder with Deca Debrief because, they're like Deca Debrief, but as far as I know, staff are aware of Deca Debrief existing, and they're just kind of like, oh yeah, it's a fine name, but if we actually like monetize the name, I'm not sure how they would react.
Yeah, they come out with pitchforks like, how dare you use our name? And second off, we made mini pets. We made mini god pets. We did that. Remember? I need to get off it, but yeah. I don't even blame Deca. They're just getting fed whatever their workers show them, so I don't even mind it all that much if it was just like loot boxes, but then they actually started dropping from the gods, and I was like, that sounds oddly familiar. I feel like I've seen this before.
What are you talking about? This is an original idea. No one's ever come up with this before.
You're right. I didn't make art for it. I didn't make sprite art for it. I didn't have my girlfriend make full blown out art of it. I didn't spend days editing that video, coming up with the idea. And the funny part is some people are like, oh, but that's an idea that's been passed around. Like, like that's such a like generic idea. And I'm just like, sure. But however, it was also a fully edited like video idea that like I explained. Some people can, yeah, sure. You could be like, I want a black sword. And then someone makes a black sword. Hey, I said, let's have a black sword. That's my idea. That's not the same as saying, I want the black sword of Al-Yunar in the game, and it has these stats, and it does this, and then they put in the sword of Al-Yunar with these stats, and it does this, and that, like that's way different. That's not, you can be very unspecific about certain things, and it makes sense not to give credit, because that's just throwing an idea. However, I made like, art for it, Cody made art for it, there was a whole video detailed for it, and that was what, 2 years ago? Right?
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Really?
Yeah, it was either like 1.5 or 2. I'd have to look it up again. But it's been long enough. And it, like, what was it? What's his name? I can't remember. Nigel posted some weird argument for it that was like, oh, but you never made animations for it. But I did make animations for it. But only some were used in the video. So I don't know what you're saying. Like, I did make animations for it. You can clearly see the baby ant god walking in the animation.
Oh, God, Nigel's comments aren't very well thought out, but, we don't blame him because he's kind of Pepega.
Yeah, I've heard some bad things. I try not to look at that side of people, but it was... I was like, that's a very odd argument, Nigel. I can see what he's saying, because, they're saying, but it wasn't YinYarn specifically, it was somebody else's. Like, they used somebody else's sprites and animations, which is true. However, I also threw the idea, like a year or so ago, why not just take that? This could have been in the game for a way longer time than you guys put it out, and they get benefits because they're UGC workers. What am I going to do? Be like, hey, Deca, check out this idea. They get like 500 messages a day. They're not going to stop and read that. But they can just contact Deca on a dime. I don't have that.
Yeah.
So, like, if I had done it, if I was a UGC worker and I was like, hey, Deca, check out this idea I made, they probably would have put it in, like, that long ago. Because clearly it was a good idea because they put it in the game. The gods drop it now. Or at least they did. I don't know if they still do, but it was the exact same thing.
I mean, here's another problem I find with Deca, which completely relates to what you currently have. The problem you currently face with, Deca is that they're not very open with their community, because they have these like Reddit posts where they're trying to like quote unquote connect to the community. I get that's their intentions, and
Yeah.
they're busy with the Unity client, which I use as an excuse for a lot of things. But honestly, they don't really keep contacts open. So like they respond to a couple of Reddit posts that they choose to because it's kind of like it hurt their pride or something. Because it's usually they respond to the controversial posts calling them out instead of the people who are creating content for the game and trying to like help it out any way they can. They give attention to the controversy instead of the people who try to help the community, which is something that I completely don't agree with.
Yeah, exactly. That was like one of the things too. That was like, I had slowed down on making videos, right? But I was like still doing them. And then as soon as that happened, I was like, you know what? Yeah, screw it. Like, why am I gonna bother playing this game that I'm like getting mad at? Because like they're doing stuff like that. Because like my whole point of playing a game is I want to be happy and enjoy my game. But when first off, I'm playing a game that's already lottery simulator, and then like playing it angrily, like it's like I don't feel like doing that. Like why should I spend my time making a video that's gonna take like weeks of my life just on a game that I'm not even enjoying right now?
Yeah, a lot of people aren't enjoying it recently. It's been something playing the game. I haven't touched it in a couple of months, but from the past while that I've been playing it, it's just kind of seemed that it's the next weekend event where everybody just kind of gathers around US East 2. Yeah, they pop keys and they open a chest, and the chest is legitimately the same items from the last one, so it doesn't matter. It's just stacking up on def pots and the last cosmetic for feed power.
Yep. I'm glad though that they decided to put in the white bags again for the gift chest, because I didn't like that when they were like UDL chest event, but there's no Doombo. Okay. Like what? It's like, why would I do that if I don't like? You better put in like a UT or something from an event guide, because why else would I do that? It was very weird.
Let's get an event chest and then just not put the valuable white bag that comes from the very dungeon it comes from. And a lot of people argue Debo is very common, but it does give a chance to people who don't have it, because some people just don't have it.
Right, and that's the point, because it's a gift chest. Like it's trying to be gracious.
What are you talking about? The chest isn't supposed to benefit the player. It's supposed to benefit the pockets of Deca.
Oh, you're right. As long as they're logging in. I mean, that like what you were saying before, like what I don't know personally. I don't know Deca. I don't know any of their employees. I don't know how hard they're working on the whole Unity thing. They could very well be paying little attention to it and getting small bits done, or they're like really grinding it out. They're spending hours sweating at the computer every day. I just don't know. So I can't make an argument for that. But, like if that is the case, if they are working super hard and there's nothing they can do, then yes, gift event chests are just fine. I'm perfectly fine with that. But if not, then I feel like we should at least get just a little bit more content, more bug fixes, because God knows we have them. And we need them currently in the state of the game.
Well, a lot of the problems that Realm of the Mad God currently faces are due to hard-coded problems, due to the way that Wild Shadow had programmed the game.
Spaghetti code?
Yeah, spaghetti code, as a lot of people describe it in the community, and even Deca has announced it's just the spaghetti code left behind by Wild Shadow Studios. So to fix it, they kind of have to have the Unity client out first.
Right.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. I feel like once that happens, I definitely see an increase in players. Like, I feel like there should definitely be a boost, and the people that played back then, I feel are definitely going to come back, at least for a little bit, if they're interested. I don't see why they wouldn't. So, I mean, it's a possible, thing that can happen. I don't know. But hopefully it happens, and yeah, okay, I don't hate Realm. They do some weird stuff to me sometimes where they make me very angry or whatever, but I still like Realm. And I especially liked Realm for what it was back then. And I mean, we can get into that later, but that was, yeah, just remembering the old days of Rome and especially how the community was back then. That I miss that a lot.
You know, me being a newer player, I was never here when the game was, you know, designed to be a game not made for people with pets. So I had a lot of a harder time getting into it, which is another thing with the newer players. We don't get a lot of new players because, you know, there are pets in the game, and it's a hard concept to get around for new players. So there's kind of this issue of when you start the game, you just kind of immediately get discouraged because this game's completely built around people who have pets. You get to the Godlands, you immediately die, and you're like, why the hell did this happen? A lot of people aren't even aware of the Nexus function, and that's a large part of that is also because the tutorial isn't built at all, so new players have no idea what to do. It's like, hey, you can dodge, and there are bullets. Thanks, but how do I get to the realms? How do I get items? What's the objective of this game? How do I stay safe? How do I collect things? What's a vault chest? It doesn't explain any of these.
Yeah, back in the day, that was actually to the game's benefit, I think, because back then it was mysterious. Like almost nobody knew anything about the game, so things were like very weird. Like I know when I first played, and this was when the game was very new. Everyone was like, what the heck is in the middle? You know, like what? Like every time I go further into this island, things start getting harder. I was like, where is the center and how hard does it get? And I thought that was cool. Like that was one of the reasons I even kept playing, because I was like, oh, you're right. What the heck is in the center? I didn't know the Godlands existed. And when I started getting towards it and I saw Medusa, and I was like, wow, I'm dead. That was such a cool thing for me, because it's like, I didn't know that was the end. You know, Medusa's probably one of the hardest things you're going to get to, but I didn't know that. And that was, when a game like that comes out and it's that mysterious and it's permadeath, you want to keep playing. So back then, that was a positive. But now it's been like 8 years. There are almost no secrets anymore. You can just look anything up, Realmeye, just wiki it. Like answers are everywhere, and it's not a terrible thing. Obviously, that happens with every single game because there's always going to be information online that you can just get for a game. But like you were saying, with new players, we didn't have pets back then for that. Like it was mysterious. But no one was better than anyone else. Sure, in gear-wise, sure. But with pets, that's such a whole other ball game. You know what I'm saying? Like pets, you cannot compare pets to gear. Pets are, there is no contest. Pets are so much more broken than any kind of gear that you can get in the game. I don't care if you get an Augmer. I don't care if you get a Jug. Pet beats it out, bar none. Like that... Think about it. How much does a level 100 heal pet give?
Shit, like 100 every half second or quarter second, something like that. It's an immense amount per second, so that's the point.
Right, even being gracious, let's say it's 100, let's say it's the size of that, even 80, even 70. That is almost every couple seconds that you're getting that much HP. And put that into like VIT terms. That's almost having like 800 VIT. And that was something you would see in like a P server, that someone was just like hacking the game and just testing it out to be funny. Someone that did that was probably like, this would never be in the game. That'd be stupid. Well, guess what days we're living in? Like that's
a good way to compare it.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a thing. There is no reason we should have that much VIT. Classes were not balanced around having 800 plus VIT. There was a maximum of 75, and that was the cap. And that was for characters that really needed it. That was for characters like the Knight. That was for characters like the Warrior. Most melee classes, if not all. I can't remember if the Paladin gets that. But the whole point is that it was for characters that just popped like that. Like even though we had melees and they could tank, they weren't going to get anywhere if they couldn't regain their health back by stepping out for a little bit and then going back in. That was the whole point of a melee class, is that it was high risk, but high reward because you do so much damage. Now it's high risk. What? No, not high risk. Now it's high reward, but what is the risk?
Yeah, honestly, there's not really much of a risk besides just random chance of dying by something really silly that shouldn't have happened, like lag, ice sphere, one shot.
Right, there is no risk anymore.
Yeah, no one really dies to anything legitimate. It's mostly just crap. I don't know, like, dying isn't something that happens typically unless it's something really stupid that catches you off guard.
Right, and the whole thing was, once again, they made these classes around their stats, and they did it in a very smart way. And they were all built to, wizards shoot from a distance, knights get in close. That's kind of just how it is. But when you have it now, where there's just no more danger, and all these classes that were considered dangerous now are not dangerous, what's the point of playing any other class aside from a melee? Sometimes you'll go into a dungeon where it's like, yeah, it's probably better to use range here, but how many dungeons can you think of at the top of your head can you just not do melee at?
Yeah, honestly.
The only one I can think of is maybe Lair of Draconis. And you can still even do that with the melee. The people that can't do that with the melee are the people that will stand back and leech anyway. Like, I've done Lair of Draconis with the melee. You can do it. If you have a pixie sword, you can definitely do a Lair of Draconis on a melee. You just haven't tried.
I hear it's getting a rework soon as well, so, there's that to look forward to.
Yeah, hopefully. Oh man. Like, that's a speech I've gone on for ages, where all these classes were so well balanced and pets just nuked that entirely.
Oh yeah, pets definitely destroyed balancing. Now, it makes, because Sorcerer used to be a really good class because it was so balanced in stats. It just kind of had a little bit of everything, and it was able to do so much. And then nowadays, it's like Sorcerer is one of the worst classes because it's just too well balanced for the game, and the game favors things that can abuse the hell out of heal and heal, like, say, Paladin. Paladin's really good with pets. Knight as well.
Mm-hmm. And look at how many people hate Samurai. And that's a pretty well-balanced class. Without pets, Samurai would be one of the most valuable classes because that armor decrease is so nice to have in a team of people.
An armor pierce melee? It's absolutely amazing.
The fact that you can shred 20 defense off an enemy, like something like Stone Guardian, something with 60 defense, even Void. Unless they patched that, do you know if they've patched that?
No, you can still use it on Void. Yeah, it's supposed to be usable on any mob in the game that's not invulnerable.
So then why are people still talking crap about the Samurai?
Because people
it's
split
balanced.
50 on 50 it. Yeah, there's always those people who will be like, I don't like this because it doesn't adhere to the meta. And the meta is pets. So, what do you expect from most of the community?
Yeah, and the meta currently is BOP.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing, even Assassin benefits from the pet greatly. Sure, it doesn't do it as well as other classes, but back then, Assassin, you didn't need it. The whole point of Assassin was, okay, we understand that you're a little scared to go in. Here, have a class that can throw poison. You can still get some loot. You don't have to worry. You'll still be able to do some good damage. Just have this class. It's great for wine cellar. And, in group efforts where you're a little intimidated, have this class. And that was great. Assassin was fun to play because even if you were a little scared to do stuff, you could still complete it no matter what. But now it's like, sorry, 20, 30 knights just ran in front of you to O2 and just decided to insta him. It's very different, and I don't like it. That was one of the things that killed the game for me, was the inclusion of pets. I still play it because I still I'll admit, I'm one of those guys that, back then, if I had $5, I'd be like, hey, let's do a little gambling. I don't do that often. I don't think anyone should. For anyone listening, it's not very good to gamble, but it can be fun. So, but just don't do it often. But that was me. Let's buy a little scratch off ticket for $5, this month, and just have a little fun. Scratch it off. Oh, I won $10. That's great. I had fun doing it. But that's Realm right now.
Yeah, that's Realm. And once you've done it enough, you realize you're just sinking your time.
Exactly. And you might not even get what you're looking for. But the whole point is that what is the challenge for you? Let's say that one day you're just like, I'm gonna do nothing but UDLs. Okay, you do 100 UDLs. You get a Dumbo on numbers 35, numbers 55, and number 80. You got them, but how hard was it for you? How much trouble did you have to actually go through to get that? Besides having to find the dungeon, like how hard was it for you to fight Septavius?
I mean, honestly, if you play warrior or paladin, just any melee class, and you just run through the dungeon, honestly, what dangers is there besides the boss just suddenly one-shotting you to lag?
Right. Exactly.
Which I always mention that because it has happened before. Septavius suddenly jumps on you and you take the full shotgun because you didn't expect it because there's this kind of a moment of lag on the servers, which does tend to happen sometimes.
Yeah, and the only other thing I can even think of is Lair Burst Trap, but you have to not be paying attention. But if you're just staying focused, if you're just looking at the ground, but once again, why even bother playing a class like Wizard or something when you can just play like a Knight? Sure, lag might kill you, but that's not a problem with the game's challenge. That's a problem with the server.
Yeah, honestly.
Sure, you got it, but did you enjoy getting it? Like, really?
Was Adventure there really worth it? I mean, you got your Debo, but how enjoyable was doing that dungeon? Probably not very much, because it's just run through it.
Yeah, it was great seeing the white bag for a minute. See ya.
See ya.
That's it. That's my whole point, is that the game right now is at a point where it's just try to find your item. Don't find it. Sucks. Find it. Great. Move on. Die with it. Go do it again. Rinse and repeat.
So let's start getting into something besides Realm, but related to it is the Realm content creating community. I'm not talking about skin creators, but more the YouTube and Twitch streamers. A lot of them have died off recently, including, well, you. So, what's your main lack of inspiration for Realm the Mad God YouTube videos?
Well, like I said before, because, I mean, obviously the game kind of just, especially with all that's been happening, I'm not super happy when I'm playing it. There's not a whole ton of content besides what I've already done millions of times. And, sure, maybe I've never gotten a Forgotten Crown before. I haven't. I've probably done like 200 more shatters, and I've still never gotten a crown. That's just bad RNG. But, sure, okay, let's say I go log in. I'm not going to have fun getting that crown. I'm going to sit in a Discord server, join 50 people. We're all going to just bum rush through it. There might be some crasher because God knows they exist. And then, that's going to be it. And then we're just going to get through. I might get a crown, I might not. Just rolling the dice. But I'm not having fun because what am I going to do? Dodge the bullets that the Forgotten King shoots out? He barely even does that anymore.
He can't. You insta him now.
Yeah, you just insta him. What's the point? And, see, here's the thing. I kind of enjoy Realm when it's with, one or two people and you're just doing private dungeons, because then it feels like something, it's a little more challenging, but still not that challenging because pets still exist, mind you. But it's still a little something. I would much prefer it if there were no pets, but the reason for lack of inspiration is because what am I going to do anymore? The only thing I can do is say why this class is stupid, for reasons that probably more people already know. Once again, I don't think that they really watch those videos to hear me explain why it's stupid. They know why it's stupid. They just want to see the funny edits, which is perfectly reasonable. That's why I would watch it. That's why I enjoy making it. It's because those stupid funny edits. I think it's fun to just make, just weird stuff like that. But I'd rather do that for games that I'm also playing that I enjoy. So take a game that I just really love. If I did A Link to the Past. If there was as many people playing A Link to the Past as there is League of Legends, I don't even know if I'd look at Realm. The whole thing is that if I'm not enjoying it, I just don't feel like doing it. So the lack of motivation is just that I wasn't having fun with it. And that's not to say that I'm never going to make a Realm video again, because, I still do have times where I enjoy playing it. Sometimes I feel like playing Lottery Simulator. Not all the time, but sometimes. And
it's enjoyable sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is playing lottery, and some people like playing lottery. I'm for one, and one of those people. I don't like playing impossible lottery though, like where you're trying to win like Mega Millions or something. Like that doesn't even feel possible, so I would never spend my money doing that. More just like scratch offs for like $5. But even then, I rarely
Scrounger?
do that. Scrounger, yes. But
Scrounder.
yeah. I mean, it's just it just feels very very repetitive. And once again, this is all opinions. What I'm saying might not resonate with somebody else, and that's totally understandable. If they're having a ton of fun, better. It's great for them. Better to them. But just currently, I've been playing this game for like almost 8 years, and I feel like I've seen almost like I've pretty much seen it all at this point. I've been through all these dungeons many many times. I haven't still surprisingly even after almost 8 years, I still haven't gotten every item. You would think I would, but RNG likes to flip me the bird sometimes. But and other times it doesn't. Like when you're testing controls and then you get a Cronus.
Yeah. Yeah, that happened, by the way.
So I don't know. Just answer just to put it short. I just wasn't enjoying the game as much, but sometimes I get motivation to play the game. So during those sparks of motivation, I might make a little something. But other than that, I just really haven't felt the need to.
Yeah, it's completely fair. It's the same reason a lot of people stopped playing and, putting out content, including, George GHCD, as you would know him. Silver Dollar stopped posting as well, and that's just because he stopped playing the game. I bet he got busy with real life as well. Nita got tired of the game as well. So a lot of YouTubers dropped off for the same reason. It's just, the lack of wanting to play Realm because of the state it's currently in.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I can't blame them because I'm in the exact same position. So, I mean, a lot of those players have also been playing the game a long time. Like, they know what I'm talking about. And they haven't even been playing as long as me, I don't think. Hayes almost. And, like, it's getting to the point to where it's like, yeah, I'll play something else.
Yeah. There's always something else to play. Hayes has been playing a lot of those kind of like single player Castlevania-ish kind of games.
Oh, yeah, those are great.
What's the genre called? Metroidvania?
Yeah, Metroidvania. Well, it's because it's Metroid and Castlevania where it's like exploration. Those are fun. I enjoy those too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're somewhat enjoyable. I have a couple that I've played, although I don't really consider them to be a genre that I actively seek out.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, my chilling did hit level 40, so it's good.
I'm glad that's what you're focusing on. That's so strange seeing those Discords have that.
Huh?
I think ours had it. Pretty sure YinYarn's barn had it.
Oh, Tatsumaki?
No, the thing where like you level up once you've put in enough messages.
Yeah, Tatsumaki.
Oh, that's what that is. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's the bot.
Of course. Sorry, I don't speak hieroglyphics. I didn't understand what you were talking about. Whatever. Move on. Next question.
Fame mattering as a leaderboard status would be kind of cool. Like you'd actually be able to go like, hey, I have this much fame, and that actually makes me a decent player, instead of, hey, I have this much fame, I fame train.
Yeah, well, hopefully it still doesn't revolve around you being in a line of people and just staying in that group.
Yeah, they're definitely nerfing God XP and buffing the ones for bosses from dungeons. So
yeah, I still say that the more people you have around you, you should just get less fame.
Actually, and an interesting point against that is, do you know who Daniel Cook is?
No.
I think his name's Daniel Cook. Let me look it up real quick. So there's a company, actually he's a developer. So Spryfox is a game development company that helped in publishing Realm of the Mad God during the time of Wild Shadow. And one of the lead founders, Daniel Cook, had helped with the Realm of the Mad God project. And what he says is the most successful part about Realm is that it has this community aspect where regardless of who kills the boss or who gets the final hit, in most MMOs, it's usually whoever gets the last hit gets, a little bit of buff to their the experience they gain, or they get the loot. Yeah. So in Realm of the Mad God, the amazing thing is that all bags are just soulbound. Not including really low tier loot, but white bags and anything above tier 10 is a soulbound bag. So you get your own loot, and you're able to rejoice in the fact that you didn't have your loot stolen by someone else. Because some people think in Realm of Mad God, there's this whole mentality that the more people, the less loot you get. That's not true at all. Your chances are the same regardless, except for stat pots, which is a minor exception to the rule. But the big thing about it is that other people don't affect your loot, other people don't affect your XP gain. So there's a community aspect. When there's more people, you share more. It's called a non-zero sum game, where there's a gain for each player for people to be there. It makes the boss easier, but it's not taking away from you. There's a non-zero sum game. You guys can come upon an agreement that, yes, you two can do this dungeon, or you five can do this dungeon, and it doesn't affect your loot chances or your experience gain.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like that aspect of Realm where even if you do a bit of damage to the boss, you can still get rewarded for it. I think they should have a timer, though. Like, if you haven't hit the boss for like 10 seconds, then it should reset back to 0.
Yeah, a loot timer would be nice, so that people don't just leech.
Yeah, leeching. That's my whole reason for it. And 10 seconds is, I feel, more than generous.
Yeah, definitely. It's, I think the big thing about it is that recently, people have been complaining about other people being in dungeons and not contributing a lot because they've added HP scaling, which counteracts the whole realm aspect of nobody is a deficit to the team. Before, leeching was kind of just something people did, and it didn't really take away from the team. It was just like you were there and you had the potential to be something better, which is why people are mad at you. But now, when people are in a dungeon and they don't do anything, they're a legitimate deficit no matter what they do. If they're just there for loot, they're a hard deficit. They don't contribute anything. And they have to, because they've created something in the bosses that make it so that it is more difficult based on the amount of people there. So it kind of counteracts that whole realm aspect of everybody has a part, and if you don't contribute, that's okay.
Yeah, but look at like how crafty some people are. Like, some people are so lazy that people found out a way to leech void at one point in time. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, how lazy can you be? Like, it's like, and you're playing like a priest. Like, it's not even like you have a hard job or anything. You just press the space bar. Like, that takes a very like low kind of person to, one, not only just play a very easy class to play in void, and then second, to know, like, in the back of your head that you're not only leeching, but you're also causing some people to possibly die. Like, your heal, even just by you spamming spacebar, like, could have possibly saved someone.
What's the nicest thing you've ever done for someone? I like that question.
Probably the best thing I ever did was when I was at the beach and some chick looked like she was going too far out into the ocean, and she was like, I'm out here, I can't swim. And so I just dragged her back to the shore, and that was it.
Oh, really? If you were given the opportunity to visit North Korea, would you go? And what would you bring, assuming you were allowed to bring anything you wanted?
Why would I want to leave this beautiful state to go to North Korea? And by beautiful state, I mean sometimes we have hills.
Yep, that's welcome to the East Coast minus New York and Florida.
Man, well, I'll tell you what. Freaking Tennessee and stuff looks beautiful.
Tennessee's all right, I guess.
I've been there several times.
I don't really know anything they're known for, but at least they're not known for being Jersey.
Just like mountains. Well, because here's the thing, right? Tennessee's a fun place because there's a lot of attractions, and it's not super noisy, but it kind of gets busy, like around Christmas time and like holiday season. Summer, I think sometimes they get pretty busy, but there's just it's more or less a selling point just because of the mountains. But yeah, I used to go to places like Pigeon Forge and stuff for vacations, and that was always fun. But like, there can be some beautiful sights in this, in this country, but I can't really ever see myself wanting to go to North Korea. It's not exactly something I've ever planned or wanted to do. Cody, I know for a fact, wants me to go to Japan at some point.
Japan's really cool, actually.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's what I've heard, but
don't stop it.
yeah, you know where I'm going. I don't know. It's not my thing. So, I'd love to go though. Like, I mean, it sounds like it'd be fun just to have like a new experience and try new things. But there's no subtitles, so I feel like I'm gonna get lost. You know.
No filthy Frank jokes around here.
But he makes a good point. Like, I wouldn't know where to
He's
go.
right.
Everything's like written like cat claw marks, and I'm just sitting there like, the bunny traveled east. Like, like I'm trying to read it like it's a haiku. Like, I don't understand it. So,
Hey, that's the country they originated from, so it just kind of makes sense.
yeah. Well, it wasn't. It wasn't supposed to sound racist.
Yeah, well, it kind of did, so fuck it.
One of the questions, YinYarn, are you racist? No. Next question.
All right, look. If you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment, would you capture it or just let it slip?
What kind of question is that? You're asking me
His
if I
palms are
had,
sweaty,
if everything
knees
was
weak,
there.
arms are heavy.
What, like, seriously, what is the guy asking? He's like, if you had one shot, one opportunity, and he's like, and you could let it slip or not let it slip. Why would you say yes? I'll let everything I've ever wanted slip. Like, yeah,
Okay.
no, it's just a chocolate bar. No, you know, I don't want that.
All right, yeah, just shit on Eminem's career like that. Just jeez.
Listen, one thing I think people find out pretty quick about me is I'm not much of a rap person. It's not really my type of music. I don't know. I can see some people enjoying it because I guess they try to make the lyrics like meaningful. But if I want to find meaning in music, I typically just go to like more orchestral type of stuff because I like to find meaning in like the way instruments are played. It just sounds better to me. Puts me in a good mood, you know, depending on how it's being played. If I want to be in a sad mood, you know, there's songs for that. If I want to be in a happy mood, there's also songs for that. I'm good on the shoot 'em up whole aspect. I'm fine. I don't really want that.
It's not something everyone seeks, but you know, there's people who listen to it. I listen to it occasionally. It's not my favorite.
Yeah.
My favorite's really shit electronic or just Japanese music because I'm a fucking
That's what Cody
weeb.
listens to. I call you both weebs. Listen, here's the thing. People can like whatever they like. I don't like it. What does that matter to me? Like, if you're into some weird kinky stuff, like, what does that affect me? Like, just, you know, whatever. Be you. Just
What
don't.
about horses?
Bro, okay, listen. Everyone's into horses. They just don't say it. As long as it isn't hurting anyone else or anything else, then yes, it's fine.
Moving on. What's your biggest fear?
You know, I really don't like ventriloquist dummies.
That's reasonable. I don't like him either, especially the puppet master because he's kind of weird. He's trying to suck my life essence.
No, I mean, yeah, like biggest fear, like I think like in terms of like boogeyman type stuff, I never did like ventriloquist dummies. You know, the stuff I really don't like is like parasitic type stuff where stuff is happening in your body, like parasites. That stuff is just weird. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I like parasite chambers.
No. Yeah, it's stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, I don't like that. It's like icky. Ew. Yeah, it's gross. Don't get that out of here.
I just broke back.
It's just it's not my favorite. I don't like parasites. Refical, also known as Lucifer, is a Deca Debrief mod who spends his time watching anime.
That like a third of what you said is true. Surprisingly, I'm not an avid watcher of anime.
I know, I just always say because I always see your icon as being like anime.
It was done by a Brazilian artist. Man,
Listen, if it's a chick that looks like a cartoon, to me it's anime.
is it? Is it a chick?
Listen, if it's not, that's still scary, but it's still anime. If it's a guy, it's still anime. If they're a cartoon, it's anime. When I watch Scooby Doo, I'm like, get that crap out of here. I don't watch it.
Okay, it's a chick, but that is also not. That's not even anime style. That's just his drawing style.
Yeah, but like I said, any cartoon type is anime. Like Superman is anime.
But that means Sonic's anime.
Yeah, Sonic is anime, and I
So
only
you
watch
watched
it.
anime.
Okay, I watched the manga. I read the manga. Crap, I was not fit for that. Whoops! Someone as ignorant as I am should not be trying to say watch or read in that context.
Who asked Yin to be on Deca Debrief?
Only the hottest, sexiest, deadliest.
Tower.
Good old Tower.
Last question is going to be about your favorite Rum the Mad God YouTuber.
Did I answer this one before on a past Deca Debrief?
You might have, but I didn't watch that episode, so I'm just kind of acting off of discussion topics that I think would be somewhat interesting for people to know about. So I guess if this is a first for some people listening to the podcast and this is your answer.
Oh, that's true. Well, I mean, my answer before was, my favorite one is Tower, because I was saying that before just because I just like the way he, his ranking things especially. Like, the thing is I kind of got into, like, the YouTube thing just, like, I remember watching his videos, like, forever ago. Like, I wasn't, like, an avid watcher, but I always, like, I remember binge watching his vids at one point just because I came by it. And I tell him this story all the time where and I told Tower this the first time I met him too. I was like, yeah, the first thing I ever saw from you was your Skull Shrine video where you're standing outside and it's like anime and the Skull Shrine is like in your eye. And they'd start having like an anime discussion of like, you will not kill me, and he's like, yes, I will, and he like pulls out like a katana or something. It's something funny that I don't remember exactly what happened, but it made me laugh because it was so just out there, and it was totally serious. But I didn't think he was dumb for it. Here's the thing: a lot of people are like, they'll use the same words. They're like, oh, that was cringy, and I'm just like, no, it wasn't. The dude's just having fun. There's a very big difference between like stuff that's like really actual cringeworthy and stuff where they're just having fun making like a video. Like, and there's clearly effort put into it, you know? Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of hate for weird stuff nowadays. I don't know, people just like to be hateful, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. And just seeing that randomly out of all the Realm videos that could have popped up. And then I watched his other stuff and some of his guides, and I thought it was fun watching his guides even though I knew how to do the dungeons, just because it opens like a perspective. Like, that's why I also enjoyed watching his ranking videos when he'd be like, number 3, Doombo. Like, I was like,
Burger King foot.
yeah, number 15, Doombo. And I think at one point, well, he put the Doombo pretty high on the list of UT weapons, I think. I don't remember. It's been a while since I watched it, but I always enjoyed those videos because it opened my mind to like, but why would he put that as number 3? And then he'd give his explanation. I was like, okay, I can understand that. Like, I see why he would say that. Like, I don't have to agree, but I can be like that. Okay, yeah, like I can see why he would say that. But it brings to light some new things in Realm that I hadn't thought of before. So that always just interested me, seeing stuff like that. Because there are times, it's hard to believe, but sometimes I like to think. And especially with stuff like that. So it just kind of opens my mind, and I'm just like, that's a cool way of saying it. And like, even when he would go through like items, like I really loved when he would do dungeon guides and he would get to the items. That was my favorite part, because he'd be like, this boss drops this, and what this is used for could be this, or it's good here. you could use it like this. And I was like, oh shoot, oh, I didn't think about using that like that. And that to me was just cool. I've always told him that I thought that I've always liked kind of analysis things where people make really well thought videos that show a bunch of good spots to use certain things, and they make it fun to watch at the same time. So that's why he's my favorite. There's also not a whole lot of Realm YouTubers I watch to begin with, though. So yeah, he was my favorite starting out, and he still is. He's a fun one.
Yeah, list is kind of thinning. I do think his analyst type videos are pretty thorough and provide a lot of information on the game, and it's, everything is from his perspective, so it's kind of interesting to see through another pair of eyes, how he thinks the game functions and what's good, what he values in the game.
Yeah, that's my whole thing about liking it, because it's just an interesting perspective. But here's the thing: anyone can have an opinion on a certain item, but he doesn't just give you his opinion. He says why he has that opinion, and then lists several other things, saying why he has that opinion. So it's not just a farted out kind of opinion. It's more oh, okay, I can understand that, because he has a lot of reasons for thinking so. He enjoys the Mountain Temple. I hate the Mountain Temple, but but after he says why he likes it, I can understand why he likes it. I have a certain view where I'm I hate the paralysis. I think that monsters being able to paralyze, or what is it, paralyze? Okay, yeah,
Paralyze.
Monsters being able to paralyze people, I don't agree with. I think that's stupid, because that's what's the counterplay to that? The only real counterplay to that is if you're playing a class that can get out of it, and that's only a couple. So I don't like paralysis. I think it's stupid. I think that paralysis is fine for us to have versus monsters, because monsters have 80,000 HP, whereas our characters have 800. It's nowhere, it's not fair that they're able to paralyze us, because the whole point is that we're supposed to be able to dodge. That's why we have such a little HP. But when you take away the ability to dodge, it's well, what's the point? I'm just praying now. What do you do if you get paralyzed by a nut?
Nexus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's that. What else can you do? That's all you can do. Either that, or you tough it out, or if you're on a knight, you wait for it to come towards you and then you stun. But there is no counterplay to the movement. It's just ceased. You cannot move anymore. I don't like that. I also don't
Cease.
Cease and desist, you scum. There's just some things that I just don't think are fair. I also am not a big fan of darkness. I think blind's fine. I do not like darkness. I don't think darkness should be a thing either. Some people are oh, but it's helpful. Sometimes it helps you dodge bullets. And that is true for the most part. However, in a game where you need to be able to dodge at all times, and you only get 2 centimeters worth of vision, and you could just step on an ice portal like that, and your character's just gone. You could just be unfortunate enough to just step on an ice portal or just something stupid that there's no human way you could have reacted to it, because there's such little space. If you personally, let me ask you, if you get darkness and it shatters, you keep running towards the bridge, right? But are you not praying, basically while you're running towards that bridge? what are you doing when you're running towards that bridge? What are you dodging, really?
Yeah, honestly, there's not really much you're dodging. You're just hoping you avoid the shots and just running to safety. And sometimes it doesn't work to your benefit, because you do get ice feared all of a sudden, and it's kind of unexpected, and there's not really counterplay to it.
Yeah,
I do think it's a little bit silly.
Mm-hmm. Anything like that, any status thing like that, where you're just, you can't do anything about it. I don't like that. I don't like stuff like that, because then you feel oh, well, it's not even my fault. I just got cheaped out by the game. Stuff. I'm fine with bleeding. Bleeding's fine, especially in a pet meta. Bleeding's a-okay. I am fine with that. Quiet, fine. That's fine. Whatever. Take away my abilities. That's fine. I can live without that. Stuff where, but I can still play around it. Paralysis and Darkness, there is no counterplay. The only counterplay is if you're just being fortunate and you're playing like a priest with a Puri or something like that. That's other than that, or like you're on like a trickster, then like maybe you can hop around, even if you're like having a paralysis issue. But Darkness is still the same problem. You still might accidentally land on a ice portal. Anything that causes you to have to get on your knees and just pray that you didn't die, like lag, is cheap to me, and I don't like it. Like that's
lag is the worst.
Yeah. The lag status.
All right, so last question, and this is always usually the first, but we're saving this one for last because it's the best one. Are you gay?
So anyway, this was fun. I enjoyed this. Yes, I'm gonna go tell my girlfriend right now. You know what? Ever since you asked that question, I've realized.
We just ask it because, everyone, I don't know, it's just a commonality to ask the question on this podcast. It's not necessary at all times, but screw it.
Nope, I am not gay. I've never had any of those sexual feelings towards a guy. I don't understand that lifestyle. I know some people do, but it ain't me, so nope.
All right, easy peasy. Then I guess that's about all we have for Devil Province.
This was fun though. I mean, there was a lot of it was Rome, but at the same time, it's like I didn't mind that because I mean, my whole channel is based around Rome, and I know the game, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it just gives us a little bit less boundaries to work with. There's a little bit more to explore when you're not restricted to Realm, and plus, everybody needs to start getting on the bandwagon out of Realm since it's kind of dying. The game's kind of dying. It's in that state.
I've watched a lot of good games end up dying like that. It's unfortunate. Spiral Knights is the biggest one I always relate back to when I think of amazing games that were just unfortunate and just died.
Unfortunate to have unfortunately opened the passage of happiness. I don't know.
Yeah, unfortunately.
All right, this has been Devil Province, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Say goodbye.
Oh yeah, see you guys. Have a day. Have a day. Have good. Have a good day.